This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I am not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. I have my suspicions, but I need you guys to clarify for me because I am new in this political space, like talking politics, like paying attention to politics. But I want to know, is Johann Rupert an ANC member? Because of the way he's been talking, I'm seeing footage of some time ago and the recent one. But the one that brought me here is the one from the meeting with Donald Trump when he ambushed Steenhuisen. That was an ambush. I don't want to lie. As much as our delegation was ambushed, they then ambushed their own. You know, that Cape Town crime thing, it just messed up with the poster that says the Western Cape is perfectly governed and everything is doing so well there. Because why would you do that? Why would you do that? I see no reason why that happened. Because he could have said, generally in the country there's crime, but he had to pick the Western Cape and be dealing with just 10 years and like that. Please let me know in the comment section. And the other thing that I want to bring to your attention is Piet Croucamp, my favorite person these days, because I just discovered him. I was like, where do you come from, Mokai? And he also brought to me, again, DEBORA PATTA, somebody of long time ago. I haven't heard from that lady in the longest time. But because of this lie about the G-side, we're seeing the people like DEBORA PATTA now coming to light. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm going to share with you the video clip of Piet Croucamp. I know some of you have seen it, but I decided not, let me bring it anyway in case somebody missed it. I was like, Mogai, where have you been? You know, he just speaks facts so calmly. I love people like that. So anyway, guys, let me leave you alone watching and be back right at the end with my closing commentary.
Gaynor and I were very fortunate to be close to President Mandela. And when he said, I'm resigning, I'm doing one term, because I want to set an example to the rest of Africa, I must say he did regret it later on when he was outlasted by decades by some of his contemporaries. But so we asked him, so who do you want to take over? And he said, no, Mr. Mbeki. And I was surprised. I said, not President Ramaphosa. He said, no, I want the young man to go out and make money. I've said to Dr. Motlana, he must go and make money so that when he comes back to be president, he can not be bribable. Now, I didn't quite understand it in those days, but he said, no, I want him to go out to make money.
Legally?
Very legally, but I want him to go into the private sector.
Yes.
And, you know, Errol Flynn years ago said the problem with my life is that my gross needs exceed my net income. And I'm afraid if you look at who became bribable, they all had that problem. I had to wind all of those tapes properly. You will see I'm the biggest target of that rabble-rouser. Number one for over 10 years, Mr. Malema. In fact, the first time I met him, he was in the youth league with that gentleman, and look how he's changed.
Right.
We have too many deaths, but it's across the board. It's not only white farmers, it's across the board. And we need technological help. We need Starlink at every little police station. We need drones. I actually got drones donated for the peace parks to stop elephant and rhino poaching. And his predecessor stopped the importation because he said the United States would spy on us. I mean, US SpaceX, the ridicule. So if we can if you can help us. Remember, sir, you and I lived in New York in the 70s. We never thought New York could be what it became. 2 commissioners, a tough mayor. We need your help to stop this awful killing. But it's across the board. Ernie is right now building a house in George. I'm building 3 cottages for my grandchildren on a farm outside Graaff-Reinet. I often go to bed without locking the door. And we have a serious problem with illegal aliens who stream across the border. And if you really look at our statistics, a lot of these murders, firstly it's unemployment and illegal aliens. And then I met Vice President Bartz many years ago at the Charlie Rose show. My wife loved the book. And she reminded me this morning that you emphasized the devastation that occurs when big companies leave towns and cities, and there's a culture of dependency that develops. And I remember you discussing it. Now that's our problem. If we don't get our economy to grow, the culture of dependency and the lawlessness will increase. I've again been against the apartheid all my life, and I'm their #1 target. Please just Google my name and Malema. You'll see it, sir. He marched on the farm.
But the crime is bad.
The crime is terrible, sir, but Mr. Steenhuisen won't admit to it, but he runs the Western Cape, where I live. And the biggest murder rate is in the Cape Flats. Gangs. We've got gang warfare. Like your M33, what were these guys? We've got the equivalents there.
Is there a white genocide in South Africa?
No, there's no sign of it, never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. They benefited from democracy more than anybody else. 64% of all boardrooms in South Africa are still white. The average income of white South Africans are vastly higher than black South Africans. No. There are better schools, there are better education, private health care. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
Has any land been expropriated in South Africa without compensation since the first all-race election in this country?
I'm not aware of anyone. Not a single farm that I'm aware of was expropriated without compensation since 1994.
So how do we interpret President Trump's executive order?
It is possible that South Africa has offended the United States with its policy on the Palestinians, and it could be that with its policy on Russia, the ambiguities of those policies and its relationship with the Chinese. It could be. I think that does play a role. But there was something very, very sensitive that was touched upon. And in South Africa, right-wing groups, so-called civil society groups, we know that they have access to the Trump administration because they claim that. And if you listen to what Trump has said, it corresponds exactly with the genocide narrative that they sell and that they market, and that whites are victims of the democratic system and the constitution in South Africa and legislation. So there's an overlay, there's an immediate overlay, it's an unquestionable overlay between what Trump says and these right-wing groups have said. So I'm afraid I have to believe them when they say they have direct access to the Trump administration, and we see it in what Trump has been doing.
Watched up to here. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'll be seeing you on my next upload. But before we do that, whatever your views are, kindly share them in the comment section. I really love reading those. And if time allows me, I do respond. But if time doesn't, I try by all possible means to react, to show that I appreciate your interaction on my channel. Guys, do have yourself a beautiful Sunday.